Hi, I'm Charlie, and this is Cooking with Milwaukee Community Leaders. Cooking with Milwaukee Community Leaders is available both as a podcast, wherever you get great podcasts, and on video on our YouTube channel, Cooking Secrets for Men. So today, my guest, I'm pleased to say, is Laura Bray.
Hello.
Laura, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. So Laura is the executive director of the MATC Foundation, which is Milwaukee Area Technical College, is right up the road here, a few blocks up. And she's also the vice president of
Advancement
and
External Communications. It's a very long title, double role
She's got
and big title.
Two big roles at the college. So we'll get to MATC in a minute. But I want to talk about how we got to this point. So you were born here in Milwaukee, born and raised. So where'd you grow up?
I grew up on the east side of Milwaukee, right off of Downer. My mom still lives there, and very close to UWM. So I had the great benefit of living in a neighborhood where we had 30 kids within 10 years of each other, and lots of kickball, and lots of going to Lake Park and playing dodgeball and all that good stuff. And I remember going as a kid to the skating rink, and all of us would walk down the street with our skates. It was honestly one of the best experiences being a kid as possible.
I meant to mention, as I was introducing Laura, she does have a bunch of awards that I wanted to get out. She's was a member of the 40 Under 40 from the Milwaukee Business Journal, Daniel Burnham Visionary Award, Frank Kilpatrick Award from the Greater Milwaukee Foundation, and most recently a Betty, which is Women of Distinction from the Milwaukee Magazine.
Yes.
So you got a lot to chat about. So you end up going to Marquette, again, right up the road here, and you got an undergrad degree in political science and an MBA.
And political science and communication. So I graduated from the School of Communications and had a double major. And understand the power of good policy and also how to talk about it. And then after graduating from Marquette, went into what's called the Jesuit Volunteer Corps. So it's like a domestic Peace Corps. And I ended up doing community organizing. One of the things that drew me to Marquette was that I looked at a lot of different schools where I could have gone out of state. And the way that Marquette is of the community and not separate from, and that as an opportunity to have Milwaukee be my learning environment, especially being very passionate about urban development and really trying to bring people together to solve community problems is kind of where my head was at coming into college, and then really kind of exploring that. I ended up doing Jesuit Volunteer Corps in Bridgeport, Connecticut as a community organizer. So I took my policy and my interest in just getting people together.
So was this concurrent with your MBA?
No. And then I worked for several years and came back. I worked actually in Connecticut for 4 years and then moved back to Milwaukee and worked for the Wisconsin Women's Business Initiative Corporation, worked for the Department of City Development, did some consulting, doing community organizing, and then when I joined the Department of City Development and really focused on economic development and the intersections between economic development, business development, and community development, I decided to go back to school to get my MBA because it was important for me to understand the fundamentals of both business acumen but also business decisions as they're making investment decisions.
So this was under Mayor Tom Barrett?
Correct.
Okay, good. Yeah, because he was our mayor for 20 years.
And I worked for Tom Barrett, oddly enough, when I was an intern in D.C.
When
I was a student.
Congressman?
When he was a congressman.
Oh.
So I've been around for a little bit of time.
Okay, so you were involved in a lot of different areas, community development, and that seems to be your passion. And so you end up going to MATC. So talk about your journey to MATC and then some of the things that you're involved with there.
Sure. So I'll do a quick thing where my major stop on my road to MATC was actually in the Menominee Valley. So it's literally right here. And
everything's 15 minutes away.
Right, exactly. So 2004, I led the organization that was really facilitating the public and private sector to redevelop the valley. So it's a little small and mighty nonprofit, the Menominee Valley Partners. And then when in that role, we kept on having great ribbon cuttings and all this literally groundbreaking redevelopment going on. And the thing that kept coming up and again was, yeah, this is great that we've brought back this area, but if we don't make some bigger strides on the workforce development issues and the upward mobility of the neighborhoods around it, we're not going to be able to kind of crack through the true redevelopment of our community. And that's really what led me to MATC. It's at the intersection of serving people that live in the district that MATC is responsible for serving. So people all the way from people straight in high school who want to take dual enrollment classes to people who might be retired and thinking about doing kind of a swan song career, who want to come back, skill up a little bit differently. So our average age is 29. And it really is. We have 16-year-olds in a classroom all the way to like 80 plus. It's pretty amazing in 180 programs. Wow. So we have nursing, we have welding, we have automotive, we have, you're probably your dental hygienist is educated at MATC, very likely.
Good possibility.
So it's pretty neat. It's an amazing thing. We have 30,000 students that we educate every year, and it's an amazing place to work.
Didn't know it was that big. So the foundation is tasked with giving money to students, or in more of a broad sense within MATC?
That's a great question. So we're the philanthropic partner to the college. It's very typical at a public institution to have a partner organization that builds private opportunities for private philanthropy to invest. Where the public sector cannot do, it goes above and beyond. It's not to replace. So we primarily do scholarships or other student support programs that help us enhance what the public is investing in. So things like, if you think about it, our student population needs a lot of wraparound support. Right. And so we fund the education, we fund some of the wraparound support, but what we've been able to do through public-private partnership is like bring down the ratios of advisors. Bring down if we have 30,000 students.
This is from the foundation.
Absolutely. Okay. So like we have Northwestern Mutual investing in a academic advisor in the programs and in the school partnerships, the high school partnerships that they work with, where we have one dedicated Northwestern Mutual advisor that works with a subset of students. That's the kind of times that we have investments to people. And then we've grown scholarships by like 600% in the last 8 years. It's unbelievable through the investment, and then we've been able to give those directly to students.
Okay. All right, so MATC is a pillar within the community. It's the services that they provide and the students that they serve. There's a niche there because they're not going to Madison.
Well, some do.
Well, to start off,
Correct.
This is a stepping stone for a lot of kids, especially kids from public school. The younger ones, the older ones, as you mentioned, second careers. You know, they've decided to. And the one that I know a little bit about, not that I've ever been there, is the culinary program.
Absolutely.
And I've seen documentaries on it. I know the Bartolottas were involved with it.
Yep. And graduates. Yep.
Yeah. So it's and a lot of people that end up working in our various great restaurants here have a background and gone to the culinary school there. So it's great. So speaking of culinary,
yes,
I wanted to give you one of our aprons.
I will proudly wear that.
And I want you to let us know what are we making today.
So my heritage is I'm a little bit of everything. My mom's Italian and Hungarian. My dad is Irish and English. And one of the things growing up that I have really not seen other people cook, and even when I searched this recipe, it was like hard to find an example of someone who's elevated eggs by doing tomatoes and eggs. Okay. And it was a thing that my dad, on a Saturday morning, he would stew tomatoes to an inch of their life and really caramelize onions and then create this. And what I love about it is that the kind of liquid and the depth of flavor from the tomatoes with the egg makes it super. Like if you like jammy eggs, this is your thing. I would say that in season, when you have fresh tomatoes, there is nothing better than this recipe. I was just going to say they're probably
a lot sweeter and a lot better to eat in the summer season or whatever the tomato season is wherever you live.
But you could even do it with like roasted tomatoes in a can and drain a little bit of the water out. And
cherry tomatoes roasted, it's the same thing. Well, you just need 2 bushels of them.
Absolutely. So this is tasty. I was describing this to you when we were planning this, that I've really appreciated Stanley Tucci's work. And when he did that zucchini recipe, that he was like, this is my zucchini recipe. This is like a simple cooking, but not many ingredients, but the combo is all right.
Great. All right, so we've done a little bit of prep work back here. We're going to go ahead and move back to the kitchen, and we'll be right back.
Sounds good. I have to say that after watching cooking shows for a million years, you're like giving me a little bit of opportunity to have something on my bucket list, so thank you. So what I'm going to do is, this requires probably 40 minutes of stewing tomatoes. So I'm not going to take 40 minutes of your time. I, through the magic of television, have done that for you. And
so these are, let's go back over here. So these are tomatoes that you've stewed and we are warming.
Yep.
And that's going to be eventually what we put with the eggs.
You got it.
So right now, we got the high test.
Yep. So the first step that I do, and from a ratio perspective...
So how much butter did you put in?
I put in 1 pat of butter right now.
Tablespoon of butter.
Yep. And what I'm going to do is, this is eyeballing it, but for that much tomatoes, I would probably, I don't know, maybe that's like a eighth of a cup. Does that look right? And maybe a little more. Let's do a little more. And what I'm doing is almost like caramelizing them for when you make like a French onion soup, like you want it to have that caramelization. It may not be quite as long as French onion soup because that goes for really long on the onions. And like in any good cook, you want to salt as you go. I like at this point to add red pepper flakes right now just to start to like get even the oil and the butter.
A little crushed red pepper?
Yep.
All right. So the onions are already in those. Okay, the onions are already in the tomatoes.
Yep.
Okay.
So I would go a little longer on this, but for the sake of time,
we'll pretend that it's been 10 minutes.
We'll pretend like it's been So now I'm putting this in, and these are the tomatoes. Now this probably would be tomato and egg for 2 in terms of this proportion. Yeah. You want enough tomatoes that it really is almost like your tomatoes and your eggs are equal in terms of the content. It's gonna cook down a lot. Like this one, I let it go for 40 minutes. I mean, my husband and I watched a half an episode of The Diplomat, if you're a fan of that show.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
While I just let that on low and slow, I do at this point put in some thyme.
Okay, that's fresh thyme.
Fresh thyme, and then again, salt as we go. And just a little bit. And at this point, I might add a little black pepper. I'm a huge black pepper and eggs fan. Okay. All right, I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Okay. Just to start this. And to go from this to this, it takes a while. And what you'll see is that as this goes, it releases liquid. Right. My recommendation is a lot of people remove the seeds when they cut. I don't think it's necessary for this recipe because you want to
retain the moisture.
That flavor and the moisture. Yeah. The moisture is what makes the eggs jammy. And so what you're trying to do is extract that and then really deepen the flavors.
Okay.
And so here I'm going. Go, go, go. And so I'm going to switch over now.
Okay. So what you're saying is it's very customizable.
Absolutely.
Very flexible.
He's putting,
That's why this is a base and you can use it for...
and then he'll also go where it's like more just thyme and other flavors that way. Or feta, or I am classic Italian. I don't even know if this is Italian. I really don't.
Sounds Italian. We'll just claim it.
Yeah.
Maybe like the Greeks. Invented everything.
Here we go. I am going to put, and I don't know if you do this too, but a little bit of water in here.
Okay.
Just as another way to kind of poof up the eggs. And
if I put anything, I usually put milk.
Yeah, and you could put milk, but you don't need a lot because you have this. So it's simple. It's just literally that. I like to get it a little bit more on the jammy side, but if you like it harder, just cook it longer.
Okay. And we've got some toast back, bread we're going to toast.
And
we'll have that when we eat.
Or should we just wait?
Wait a minute.
Okay, sounds good.
Too much going on.
I know. So again, I'm gonna just that's pretty salted from before, but I'm just gonna put a little bit more.
Okay.
And why don't
So
we
it's
just
more salting the eggs.
throw in a little bit more red pepper, and then at this point,
So let me just understand.
yeah.
A teeny bit of salt and a lot of red pepper.
Do you think that's a lot?
No, I don't know.
I don't know. To taste, as they say.
Yes.
And then why don't we put in a little Parmesan cheese at this
All right.
point?
Got some parm.
Yeah, here we are. And then I'll put extra on the serve.
Take that, Jeff.
Yeah, no joke. He's like, I said, oh, should I do Parmesan cheese and basil? He goes, no, feta.
Feta.
But, everybody has their thing.
So you can see it's got the consistency of scrambled eggs, and then it's also got the tomatoes in there that have stewed, and that's going to give you a little, and with the onions, a sweeter flavor on top of the eggs, and then yum. We're cooking for a few extras today, so that's why we got. So normally you and Jeff would not eat this much.
No.
Okay.
But we had it for dinner the other night,
Uh-huh.
and my daughter said she doesn't like it. How could she? But I'd say we did that much with the two of us for dinner. I don't know. We were hungry.
Okay. And then we've got some
But it's
basil
pretty
here.
healthy. I mean, really.
So the basil will go on top as a garnish?
You could put it in now if you wanted to. I like to keep the freshness
Yeah.
personally, but everybody
As
has.
soon as you cook it, it turns black.
When you are cooking the tomatoes, you can walk away, keep it on low. You could let it burn a little bit. But I mean, you want to keep it on low. You can let it caramelize, but at this point, all hands on.
Good. All right. It looks like
We're there. So I'll put this in the oven.
All right, so we're going to put the toast in, and going to watch that. So give us a minute. We're going to put these together, and be right back.
Sounds good.
All right, we're back. So, Laura,
Ta-da.
tell us what we got here.
Well, so this is tomatoes and eggs. I think Jim Wake, my father who's deceased, is the one that perfected this recipe. Love you, Dad.
All right, so we've got some basil on top, Parmesan cheese around, and there's onions in the middle with little thyme, and then just scrambled eggs and tomatoes.
Yep.
Stewed
tomatoes.
Right.
Yep.
All right.
Bon appetit.
Oh, and we have some toast. Nice. And, of course,
We call this the butter delivery system.
right, there's no such thing as too much butter.
It's true.
Kind of a rule. All righty. I'm going to grab a little toast.
Good.
And, of course, have to have some butter.
All right.
All right, let's dig
Here
in.
we go.
This is great.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
One thing that might be good now that I'm tasting it is a drizzle of olive oil as a finish.
We have.
That would help with the acidity just a little bit.
Thanks to Tom and
Look
Marie
at that.
Garvey. Here, why don't you, I'll let
Oh
you
yeah,
pour.
that sounds good.
Just
So,
wanted to give
or
them
the other thing is adding more butter before you add the eggs, just as a final. But
All right.
hello, olive oil.
All right, there we go. All right. Delicious.
Simple, simple, simple.
It was interesting. It's eggs, but it just doesn't taste like eggs. It doesn't, because the tomatoes and the onions.
I'm gonna put a little more pepper on mine because I'm a pepper girl. But yeah, it's good. We made it for dinner the other night to make sure I had proportions right because I do it all by memory. And it was a perfectly good dinner.
Most good
And a
cooked
salad on the side. It's perfect.
The basil and the Parmesan, along with the thyme in it, it just makes it seem like it's just this Italian dish, simple Italian dish. And if you were quoting Stanley Tucci, there's a part of Italian cooking called cucina povera, which means that it roughly translated poverty cooking. People make do with what they have. And this is a simple dish.
When we get tomatoes from the farmer's market in the summer or from our CSA share from a local farmer, we'll just cut up all the tomatoes and put it in the oven and roast it that way. and then have it, and then freeze it, and actually have it for a while to be able to do this, or as a base of like a bolognese. And this is the result of having this overnight. So, and I actually think that might intensify the flavor a little more.
We have a guest sitting over here.
Hello.
Would you like some?
Oh, thank you so much.
You're having tomatoes and eggs. A simple,
looks fabulous.
easy,
Thank you so
and
much.
delicious.
We like to feed everybody.
Oh, you guys are live now?
We are
We are live. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I'll let you have your show now.
It's all good.
Tom will be here in a minute.
Okay.
When he doesn't read his messages, he'll just come down. Well, as I take another bite, before you take another bite, thanks so much for coming.
Pleasure was mine
She
as
said
I
with her
swallow.
mouth full.
Yeah.
This was wonderful. I mean, it's just the simplicity of what this is amazing. And then a few simple ingredients: Parmesan cheese, basil, caramelized onions, along with the tomatoes that are cooked long in a stewed format. Just delicious.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I did. And, work in the community, obviously, with MATC. It's a needed part of the city here in Milwaukee. Not everybody can go to Marquette.
Right.
So MATC is a great place. So
Great.
I want to thank everybody for supporting Cooking with Milwaukee Community Leaders. Please like and subscribe. And until next time, thanks for watching.
Take care.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Cooking with Milwaukee Community Leaders. Cooking with Milwaukee Community Leaders is brought to you by Cooking Secrets for Men, LLC, and was recorded in the 3rd Ward in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We feature and profile community leaders who are trying to make Milwaukee a better place. The tagline is, serious people with serious jobs having a little fun. Our guests choose the recipes that we use on the show. All of our podcasts are available on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get great podcasts. The original YouTube video for this episode is available on our YouTube channel, Cooking Secrets for Men, all rights reserved. Thanks, and see you next time on Cooking with Milwaukee Community Leaders.